So it just so happens to be that time of year, October 31st, or as it's better known, Halloween, where people are dressing up as characters that exist within the horror movie dimension, or dressed up as anything, really. It's a time for celebration, mainly within the Western world. So for this video, I wanted to just do a little bit of a breakdown of some things that I've noticed as trends with horror movies. So I'm mainly going to just put this video into two different sections. The first section, why horror movies are so popular. Secondly, horror movie budgets. But before I get into that, I am someone who personally doesn't get that much into horror movies in the first place. My sister can vouch for me in this respect, but I cannot stand being scared. I hate it. Probably my least favorite genre to watch because I get scared very easily when it comes to jump scares or anything like that. I cannot stand them.
Like, chill out, Scooby-Doo, stop shaking.
My older brother was the one who gave me the inspiration for this idea. He was discussing with me about how low the budget for the movie Saw was. So with a budget of $1 million, the Saw movie was able to make back $103 million. It then just got me thinking, like, what is it about horror movies makes them so captivating and why people go year in and year out to watch these movies? It was really picking my brain, so I wanted to just look into it and see what I could find. I think the main thing is fear factor. People like to be scared. However, I wanted to look more in the specific direction of why these things are. There's actually three main factors that come into that fear factor: cinematography, music, and themes. But I'll go much more in depth with themes later. With cinematography, horror movies have very specific principles that create atmosphere through uses of things like negative space. The best way to portray it is to show you right now. So I'm in the center of the frame. What I could do is move over a little bit, and then I've got all this negative space here next to me. For example, if there was something in the back moving that was out of focus, it would give off that uncomfortable feeling that something's gonna happen back there. We usually also get the bleaker colors. The image comes across as being darker to portray that negative and eerie look. Then the next thing we have in cinematography are jump scares, probably the most typical techniques within the horror world as a way to frighten the audience. The next section of main topics is the music. The most famous music pieces that have come out of horror are the themes from Halloween and the themes from The Exorcist. When it comes to music, I've heard quite a few types of music from different films, because film score was something I was studying at one point. A couple of techniques that can sometimes be used in horror movies for the music is atonality and cognitive dissonance. Basically where the music is confused. It causes there to be a lot less harmony. It creates a more uncomfortable tension within the film, something that subconsciously can change the perception of the film. And last but not least, we then also have different themes. There are many subgenres. Body horror is one of those themes, which includes films like Alien, The Thing, and The Fly. You've also got slasher movies, pure gore and unrelenting killer films like Friday the 13th, Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. And then we have my least favorite, Supernatural, The Exorcist, World War Z, Smile. So here are some stats to draw some similarity between standard films and then have that pitched up against horror movies. The average cost that gets spent on every movie that gets released is roughly about $65 million. The average profit is about 12 million. Different movies require different amounts of budget. So the gold standard for how much a movie is able to make is the Avatar movie, the best-selling movie of all time, with almost 3 billion that's made back. Although it cost them 249 million to make in the first place. That includes all the CGI. It's a lot of money that was put towards the film, but it did make a whole lot of money back. That's the kind of risk that companies have to make. You have Fast and Furious X, which cost 340 million to make, but in return made only about 700 million. One of the biggest examples in the horror genre is the Blair Witch Project. So with the Blair Witch Project, it cost $60,000 to make. They were able to make back $250 million from it. The remake of Stephen King's It made $700 million, so about the same as Fast X. The budget is lower, 40 million, compared to the 370 odd million on Fast X. You also have The Exorcist, which in today's money cost 12 million to make, but made over $1 billion with adjustment, the highest earning horror movie of all time. But not every single horror movie is a box office success. The Wolfman, the 2010 remake, is a good example of this. Wolfman initially had a $80 million budget to work with, but with the director leaving the project, some directive changes, they spent almost $80 million more, pushing the budget to $150 million. For a movie to still have such high expectations whilst being the third most expensive horror movie to make of all time, only behind Van Helsing and World War Z, the film only made back $142 million. So they actually lost out $8 million for producing the movie. With the way of things in the future, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that has just been released this month, set on track, potentially highest earning horror movie of all time, but also qualifies in another category for being a video game movie. We've had two movies in this same year that have beaten previous video game movie records. The Mario movie became one of the highest grossing animated movies of all time, the highest grossing video game movie of all time. Now we have the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which has already defeated it at the box office in its opening weekend. If I was to reflect on it, there's an event every single year that leads to the consumption of horror. But not just that, there's also not a whole bunch of continuity, but very typical and very expected factors that will come out of it. However, people still have the same reaction. And this is why I love movies like Scary Movie, just purely because of the way it tackles the themes, the music, and the cinematography. It follows certain principles, but as a comedy movie, it makes fun out of those aspects.
Hello, Drew.
Anyway, guys, I think that's all I've got really to say. Let me know what you guys think of these film essay type videos. It's fun to do all the research. Maybe I'll get some other people to hop on some of these with me so we can discuss them together. Let me know what you guys think. If you got any ideas or anything, hit me up. Check out some old content on my channel just for a kind of feel of what kind of stuff I'm making. If you're new, please subscribe and turn on notifications if you're returning. Like the video, please. I appreciate everyone's feedback and I appreciate everyone who's watching. Love you guys and see you guys later.